Welcome to today's episode on Omo Pastor. We are still running this series with Jemima.
Hi, once again.
Yeah, welcome to Omo Pastor. Today we're delving into a topic that I think every Omo Pastor on this planet Earth has been through, and that is dealing with pressure and expectations. You know, dealing with pressure and expectations placed on us, whether by family, society, or even ourselves. It can be very overwhelming at times.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Mm.
Okay. I think one phrase that we're tired of hearing is "What will people say?" And it's something that you will keep hearing until your parents go and meet the Lord.
They will not stop.
They will not stop, even when you even have your own children. Because let's say your own children come and they're dressing a certain way, you say, "What will people say? Is this how I train my own child?" Or you just dress trying to find your own personal style, and and your parents are still saying, "What will people say?" Or you just having a mind of your own and they're still saying, what will people say?
Even for you, for thinking.
For using
thinking. Your mind.
And it can be so frustrating because being a pastor's child, you never get to develop your own personal style, because everything you want to wear or anything you want to buy, you have at the back of your mind, what will my parents say? What will people say? So you never even get to dress the way
you're dressing within you.
Exactly. Because I remember when I was young, because I was want to dress the way my dad would want me to dress. And I remember someone walking up to me in church saying that, "Why are you always dressing like an old woman?"
That was a blow.
And I was so pained because my mom was angry, but she understood where the person was coming from, but we couldn't really say anything.
This
because
is our predicament.
This is our predicament. I don't want to dress like this, but I have to dress like this so that I will not get in trouble or anything like that. And it can be frustrating because you really never get to be yourself. I call it hypocrisy, because it's not you want to dress like this outside, it's not how you dress like that in church. And so I think this whole building expectation is breeding generations of hypocrites.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's deep. When and the pressure to behave a certain way, to live up to high standards in something, is something we all face.
Yes.
Where it's not in everything. Sometimes it's just in certain things that you're expected to live up to a high standard. I think the first step in dealing with it is recognizing that these pressures exist.
Yes.
And they can be burdensome. You hit the nail on the head when you said, when we continue encouraging that mindset of what would people say, and we're growing children in that space, we're practically breeding a generation of hypocrites. And that's far from what pastors want to do.
Yes.
It is far from what pastors want to do, but they do not know.
They don't know.
Or they are not aware that what the actions or their body language
Yes.
to certain things is leading to that. What really matters is how we handle it.
Yes.
Yeah? So how do you personally cope with pressures? What strategies have worked for you? Especially now, you've mentioned something profound, dressing. We were having a discussion on safe settings, and we got to the point where we realized that it's important for parents, when parents allow their children choose their own clothing.
Yes.
It helps them develop a sense of autonomy. Yeah. So you've mentioned dressing, and in other aspects, what has worked for you in managing such expectations to look a certain way, speak a certain way? You remember that there was this story of a child that says, "You've been asking me to sit down. I'm sitting, but in my mind, I'm standing on top of that table." How have you been coping?
Okay, so how have I been coping? I think another important thing is the church that you're raised in. I'm raised in a very I would say a very Yoruba type church that emphasizes on, let's say, a classical church. Let's just put,
Okay.
now we have classical church, we have the new Gen Z
Yeah.
youth church. So I was raised in a classical church. And so I think over the years, I've just realized that to avoid people talking, you just try and conform to how it is there. But even if you conform there, this is not how you dress outside. But I just say, okay, in church, this is how you dress. Avoid doing anything that will just put you in trouble, because people will talk. People will always talk.
They just get in your case.
They just get in your case. People that have no business with you will always get in your case. The elders, people that even their children are doing worse, you can boldly tell them that your child
go back home now and deal with what's at home. Leave me alone.
So it's, you just, for church, okay, this is what I'm facing. Let me just dress like this. Let me get over with it. But now I'm trying to find my own personal style, and it's still hard because you want to do like this or you want to dress like this, and your parents are like, my mom is okay. I think my father is the pastor, so my dad is like, this your top is too short for these jeans you are wearing.
You're wearing, should I do buba? Or boo-boo?
So even this week, before he allowed me to start wearing wig or get my own wig, I just bought it. And I think one thing is just do it. Regardless, when they see it on you too many times, they would
adjust.
They would
get
adjust
used
to it. For that's fashion. And then now, in terms of there are many areas in this thing. The way you talk. I think there's something my mom used to say. There's a way you can tell someone they are stupid then they'll tell you thank you.
Yeah.
And so you just learn how to construct your words. Because when you're young, you tend to want to say anything anyhow. So I think you should learn how to have a filter in your mind and learn to say things in your head.
Wow. So being a pastor's child now, it makes you create mind filters.
Yes.
So you don't say it as it's going on in your mind. What different levels of you not being authentic to who you are.
Yes, there's a level of it. There's a huge level of it, because in your head you are outgoing, but because you are a pastor child, like now, let's say you're a friendly type of person, and you mingle with a lot of people. Some people might take it as this one is going with boys, and it's not
so easily,
and it's not even that. Some will even lie to the point of telling your parents that they saw you hugging.
They know your boyfriend.
Because I have a friend that her father is not even a pastor, even just a worker in the church, and there's someone in her church that looks exactly like her, and so that person is a bit more outgoing, and so she saw the person, a woman just saw the person talking with her lookalike, and went to tell her dad that I saw your daughter in one corner talking with a boy, and it wasn't her, it was her lookalike, and her father flogged.
Jesus.
Did not even want to hear what.
So at what point does it become important that as an elder in a church, when you see teenagers talking, you go and report to their parents? Because I do not understand the level of responsibility that people are putting on themselves to do that. Yeah? Mm-hmm. How important is that to your ministry? How important or is just being the what's
not
it called?
minding your business.
The vigilante of pastors' children. How do we call it now? That is another level to it. And when we talk about, if you have to, naturally everybody should filter what they want to say. And like your mom says, you can actually call someone stupid and they'll say thank you. That is you knowing how to present your words, your feelings. It's at the end of the day, you can't take proper communication out of this discussion on managing expectations. How about expectations that are self-imposed. Sometimes it happens because you have been in that environment where the demand is too high. If it's not one thing, it's another. You take one step, someone says 100 things about it. So just get to a point that you now start adding to it. Let's just go, all the way. Not. What about self-imposed expectations? How does that work?
Self-imposed expectation. I'm trying to see, because I think my way of escaping things in church is I just sit by myself, and one service is over, I run to the car. I don't even want to, because one thing that I've had to learn is one's expectation is trying to be friendly with everyone. I'm not a friendly person. I won't even lie. I'm the kind of person that I'm kind of...
like your space.
I like my space. And so I had to forcefully learn how to be, what's the word? To be more friendly, to be more open, because there are situations whereby, because it's among you teenagers or youths, I just pass you. Maybe my mind was not there, I pass you. You now go and say that Jemima did not greet me.
At what point is it your responsibility to greet everybody because you are the pastor's child?
Jemima did not greet me, or Jemima is not talking to me. Is it because my social class is like this?
Really?
I just feel it's low self-esteem on their own part.
Yeah.
But they won't understand that. I remember a situation whereby I came back from school and I was greeting. Everybody has the way they react to their own personal friend to another person. And I was just reacting. I saw my friend, I greeted her, and there was someone standing next to her. She now went to go and tell her sister that it's because I've gone to school that I'm no longer respectful. I said, wow.
Seriously?
Imagine having to say sorry for things that... What am I saying sorry for? What am I saying?
Things that on a good day you'll be like, that's your
business. But if you say that's your business, it
will go on and on.
It will go on and on. So I think one expectation I've put on myself is trying to please everyone in church, and it is very hard. It is very difficult.
You can't find it easy being a people pleaser.
It is very difficult,
and it is just, I can say, it is being forced to live in a way that is not congruent with who you are.
Yes,
and it's not a good place to be.
It's not
a good place to be. I had such an experience too, and I think when I was a teenager, we were in church and this girl just came and was like, we are friends. She wanted to be my friends, and you are. They have been able. Some of me, I'm a middle born, so their hands are full, and for some reasons, middle borns get neglected a lot. They have the younger ones being they are given a lot of attention to, and the older ones that But I was just like on my own. So this girl was like, I want to be your friend. I said, I don't want to be your friend.
Mistake.
I was a teenager. It's not like I was a toddler. It could be overlooked. I said, I don't want to be your friend. Do you know that this matter we are discussing, Jemima?
Wow.
The girl's father and mother took the girl with them to meet my parents.
Wow.
Okay, they met my father and they explained that their daughter is feeling, is this, is that I said I didn't want to be their daughter's friend. Then they came home and called me that yes, my mom and dad, and I was like, come, we need to have a meeting. You should not be proud. You should not be...
Because you said no.
How did pride come into this whole discussion? I don't want to be her friend. I don't like the way she does her things. Because they asked me, say, why don't you want to be? I said, I don't like her style. We're not
on the same.
Do you know I was advised to be her friend? The end of the counseling session was you just be friendly with everybody, try and be friends, there's nothing wrong and all. Guess what? I think by the time we were in JSS 3, she got pregnant.
Wow.
it was at that time that my parents are like, oh, and she said she didn't want to be friends with that girl. I said, can you imagine? It wasn't even because I noticed waywardness or anything. It was just, she wasn't just my kind of person. And she was also forward. There's a way people are forward. They just want to get into your space. You always like your space. There's another thing that being pastors' children subconsciously create in us. We like our space.
Yes.
Because you see yourself as a public. Your house is up. If your parents are not careful, your home could be turned to a public place. People will just visit sometimes, especially on Sundays.
That's why my mom is happy our house is
So
it's far from church.
You're always looking for your own space. So I just wanted my own space, and it turned out I had to be friends by force.
Yes.
Yeah, but life took its turn, and we got separated on a good note. On a note that my parents were proud of. Okay, so yeah, I think it comes down to self-awareness and self-compassion.
Yes, it does. And to add to what you said, most times these people that you are trying to have an expectation for, the reason why they are the way they are is because they wish they were you. Sometimes they want to be you. So because they don't know how to communicate that feeling, they are now putting so much pressure on you, and it is wrong.
Do they really think it's so sweet to be you in the pastor's child's shoes?
Some people don't know. That's the thing about life. From afar, it looks all beautiful.
Glamour, yeah.
You're going to, there's an event in church, your parents are going back with 2 coolers of food. So some people, those are the little perks that they say, something is happening, pastor and their child is enjoying. And it's not always like that. People don't see what happens inside.
They don't see how you had to mature beyond your age.
Yes. You have to mature. Your mates are not wearing berets to church. You tied your scarf.
It must be hard. It must never fall off.
Must not fall off. Or you forcing yourself to be in a department that you don't want to be in.
What am I doing here?
So it's a bit, it's frustrating. I think this is one topic that, and just realize that expectation, don't care about what people have to say about you.
Thank you.
Don't care about what anybody has to say about you. You're your own person, and try and figure out life by your own self. Because when you leave your parents, and let's say you have to go abroad and nobody's watching you, how will you behave? Then
you can choose whether you go to church or not.
Or whether you go to church or not.
From school, people are choosing whether they go to church. Some pastors' children are the troublemakers in school fellowships. They're just like, there's nothing new.
Some of
what
them
are these ones doing?
Do
you understand? And the truth is, there's nothing new. I remember then on campus, Jemima, there was this, I think sometime this year, we had a chat, and I reminded her, our sister's coordinator then, there was a time she just busted into tears. And she was crying that, mentioned my name and another friend of mine, that we're not letting her ministry work. Said we're not letting that anything she told us, we didn't do anything, that we were just, and I'm like, sis, I came home wearing earring. How can I come here? You tell me to take it off. Even at home, they couldn't tell me. There's nothing new you want to tell me. The things I found new were the scriptures, were the exposure to scriptures, exposure to the real life of a Christian,
yes,
where you are fellowshipping with God, and you are enjoying it. Those things I found new going to campus fellowship. But you see all the legalities and all, they didn't matter to me. I was just like, and like you said, sometimes you have to conform. And that conformity was breaking something in me, right? Because it breaks something in you. For how long are you going to be untrue to yourself?
Very important.
So it comes down to self-awareness and self-compassion, where we ask ourselves, this expectation that I'm putting on myself, to what extent does it help me?
Doesn't help in any way.
I'm just enjoying the stress.
And as you said, it weighs you down.
Mm-hmm.
It really weighs you down. And then when you eventually leave your parents' house, or when you even want to be in a relationship or whatever, you always have at the back of your mind, what will mommy say, what will daddy say, what will mommy say, and it spoils the type of relationship you have. It spoils the type of friendships you have in general. So just ease yourself, just let yourself be. And while you're even at home, rebel a little. I'm not saying
No.
rebel a little.
What you said is very perfect.
Rebel a little. What, maybe if you're not allowed to wear earring, and you've seen and look at the scripture, maybe they told you don't wear earring, and sometimes we take personal consecration as main doctrines. Maybe God has told you as a person, don't wear earring in quotes. You now push it down to the whole family, the whole Christian community. So this whole thing boils down to know Jesus for yourself. As you said, you learn scriptures anew. So go to the Bible. If you are convinced in your own heart, not what pastor has told you, not what your parents have told you. If you're convinced in your own heart that I'm allowed to wear attachment, I'm allowed to wear jewelry, do it in moderation, because that's what the Bible says. And you tell them, explain to your parents, Daddy, you teach with the Bible. I've come here with my own, the same Holy Spirit that taught you. I have come here. It's teaching me. And I've come here that this, I have the conviction in my heart to do this. Let me do it. And you can even tell them, let me wear it for 1 month. If my attitude has changed, if my character has changed, then you can tell me no. As I said earlier, results is what matters. So if they see that your character hasn't changed, or nothing bad has happened to you with what you have decided to do, it tends to ease things. And you can even make it in a way that you're even better. Even if earring or attachment has nothing to do, just make it in a way that you're even better with whatever you've decided to do, and they'll tend to ease up a bit. And just keep letting them know what your identity is, or what you want to do with yourself, and show results, good results with what you're doing. Let's say you want to be a singer, and you want to branch out from the choir setting, and you show them that, okay, what I'm doing is I'm still promoting Christ, and I'm doing what I love. It might not be in the church setting.
I just want to do it on a larger scale.
Outside
of the church, but it's still... And that will help. Yeah?
Yes. It would help. So when they see these things, that, okay, she's doing things by herself, there's results with it, their expectations would reduce, or the expectations they have in their head, or what will people say, would reduce. So
it's, there is no absolute solution. It's an ongoing process, because we're dealing with our parents, and they have their own backgrounds, they have their own expectations, and they also are under a lot of pressure.
Yes, by themselves.
You understand? So the elder that goes to report a child to the pastor,
yes,
what's the intention?
Some people are just bitter. I think we need
it's you know that this, why are you doing this? And then the next thing will be, we reported his child, he didn't do anything. And it goes from children, ill will in the heart of people towards another person sometimes can bring about a lot of unexpected behaviors and attitude. That is not to excuse people's wrongdoing, but sincerely, when you are there in the church and all your thoughts towards your pastor and the family is, we will soon see they are disobedient children, they are this and they are that. Not minding the impact of what you are doing, how it's affecting their joy, how it's affecting their self-esteem. For how long is somebody going to be in a community where they are extremely careful? That's the space that some pastors have been pushed to. They are just extremely careful. They mind how they talk. They are wary of who is talking to their children because they don't know. That's not a healthy environment. And on this note, I would like to address us Christians. I would like to address, as a matter of fact, every religious setting. Your pastor's 4-year-old child is a 4-year-old child.
Exactly.
Your pastor's teenager is a teenager. And your pastor's child who is at the adolescent stage is an adolescent. Allow them live their age. Allow them enjoy that time. Do not impose unnecessary expectation, unrealistic expectation. Do not set standards that you cannot even achieve in your own home. And sometimes standards that we know are wrong, we still set them. What do you expect of a toddler?
Exactly. What do you expect of it?
Play around. If unless you have engaged them positively, they will go to where they have fun. Play is work for them. So if you don't have that around the church and you're saying, you see, it's always the pastor's child. If a pastor's child screams in church, you say it's a problem. What's the wife thinking?
And another child could do the exact same thing,
and it's fine. So we need to give our leaders' children grace to exist. We need to give them grace to be who they are. We need to give them grace to discover themselves, discover their passion, make their own mistakes. Like you said, I said what you said was perfect. Rebel a little. Don't be that perfect child who doesn't make mistakes, because that is not true. Is there anyone on earth that's like that? Who obeys every instruction daddy says, every instruction mommy says, every instruction every elder says? That person is no longer living.
He's a robot.
I didn't want to say it, but since you have said it, that person is no longer living. They have become, they've taken people pleasing to a different level. And the issue is when you have that destination syndrome now, that when I get out, when I get to the university, by the time I marry, by the time I have my own job, what happens is you do not realize that the life you're living now is actually not preparing you for that time. And you need to be able to manage circumstances of that time. So that is why living authentically at our present time, enjoying where we are on the way to where we're going, is very critical. So we must understand that we cannot afford not to engage them in communication.
Yes.
Just learn how to say it. Say it is stupid and let them say thank you. All right. Express your needs. Share your concerns. If somebody has done something wrong to you in church, as a pastor's child, as a leader's child, respectfully tell them. What you said made me feel. Don't say you are a bully. But you can say what you said made me feel bullied. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about how I feel. And an honorable person will respect that. Respectfully decline requests, demands that don't align with your purpose, your value, where you're going. If friendship does not align, must you be in that friendship? Honestly, we couldn't have said it better today. We have mentioned and touched on a lot of things. Thanks so much for joining me today, Jemima. And to everyone listening, remember to take it one step at a time and be kind to yourself as a pastor's child. All right? Live. That's what I want to say. Practically live. Don't just survive. Live. Jemima, what do you want to say?
And another thing I want to advise parents is, when someone comes and tells you your child does a certain thing, fight for them in public, in front. Let people know at that point that you can't come to me and be telling me unnecessary things. Let your child see that you are actually supporting them in public. It's better you come out in public and say, my child didn't do this, I know my child, and then you can go back in private and say, okay, this person came and said this, what happened, what really happened. But in public, fight for your children. Let them know that you support them, because most times you come back home and start shouting on them that you did this, you did this, you did this, and you are just creating a child that cannot come to you when they are in trouble, cannot come to you when there's actually a problem. So fight for them in public, and then you can handle whatever that person said in private.
Plus, not fighting for them in public, thinking you are protecting your ego, is actually exposing your entire family.
Exactly.
You are making people see the gap. That's very profound. If we continue, Jemima, we'll not finish this topic, and we need to round up. So on this note, we're going to say, till next time when we come on Omo Pastor again, bye-bye.
Bye.